Hey guys, how's it going? It's Nate, just chilling here in Boston. I picked up something cool I want to share with you guys. This is a outdoor mini stove, it's a cook stove that I picked up on Amazon for about $335, I think it was. And all in all, it's so far I'm really impressed with it, and I wanted to kind of show you everything that came with the package and what you can really do with it when you go outdoors. So first off, this is the Winnerwell. We'll just go ahead and find the paperwork for you. This is the Winnerwell Woodlander Deluxe Cook Tent Stove, and included in this kit we have the stove body, the ash scraper, the pipe with damper, 4 long pipes, and the spark arrestor. It also includes a water jug, a water heater, where you can put water on top of the stove and then let it boil as you light your fire, and you continue to have your fire throughout your camp or your cabin, wherever you're using this. So as you see here, I already have it laid out. They include a mat in the package, where a fire resistant mat that you can place the stove on in your tent, which is a good thing because the legs will probably and will most likely be hot and will melt snow or will singe the bottom of your floor of your camp, your tent. Also included in this, they give you, throw in some, and I don't know how well made these are, but they seem to do the job. These are fireproof gloves, so you can grab logs, move them around, open the fire handles, and all just keep your hands safe when using your stove. So first impressions, this thing is pretty solid. This is one of 2 choices in stoves. I was looking at this, and then the G stove, which I think is I want to say it's like a Norwegian made or stove, but don't quote me on that. I picked this one for a couple of reasons. A, it had a little bit more surface area on the top to cook, and also I got it overnight for having an Amazon Prime membership. Ordered it yesterday, showed up today at noon. Can't beat that. So let's go ahead and just open up the bag. The bag itself is just like your typical duffel. It has 2 pockets where you can stow stuff. I'd assume you put the gloves over here and then the mat that's on the floor on the other side. But you could also probably put some pans, cookware, or anything that you want to keep with your stove permanently, and maybe some fire starter stuff. But really cool. I like it. Seems pretty solid. Everything about this stove says quality to me, and I'm pretty sure the bag itself will last a while. So just kind of opening the flap here, you'll notice that the very first thing we have is the grill that the logs that you will place in your stove sit on. And this is really the only awkward thing, I think, in the bag. It's not really awkward, but it does definitely sit on top, and it sits on top of the output, the valve, or the stem base right here. And it's not a problem. You probably try to fit it in underneath the piping itself, but I didn't really want to dent or ruin all my connector pieces, the pipes. So I just keep it there as is, and that's kind of how it came in the box. So I'm going to put that aside right here. I'm also going to move this over a little bit so I can show you the stove itself. So the cool thing about this stove, like many of these things, is that you can actually use the folding grates as a way to pick it up and move it around. And I'll just kind of zoom in so you can check it out. And it is definitely pretty heavy, but it's well made, so I trust that this will not come crashing down on the floor. And another thing I kind of noticed when I was playing around with it is the best way to open the legs is to really set it on its back side like this. The reason being is you don't want to put the glass down because then the pipes will come out and crack it possibly. But let's go ahead and open the legs just so I show you how those work. So if we zoom in right here, I'll try to get you a good shot of that so you can see what I'm talking about. Alright, So we have this little prong system that has some kind of wire latch that keeps it in place. So if I just kind of flick that open like that, the prong itself slides out and then can fold the leg out, and I think it's the prongs can go either way, and then put it back into place and then lock it back in, and that is pretty solid. And then I'm not sure actually if I can open the legs this way. I might have to change that. Yeah, so unfortunately I'll just back this up a little bit, and I know you guys can't see this, but let's go ahead and do this real quick for you, and we'll get it back in frame. Alright, so got the legs, put the prongs in, and I'll go ahead and pick the stove back up carefully, and let's zoom back out. There we go. Unfold there, and you have your stove. So the cool thing about this stove is that it does nest everything that you need inside the stove itself. Now, that's not including if you're using a 45-degree pipe system, or you're using some of the other stove jacks that you're going to need to attach to your tent. But let's go ahead and open the door. And there was more foam when I first got it, but I really just only put in this one foam piece. And I always just kind of get stuff from jiggling around, and I might eventually just lose this, or you know what happens with foam. You never keep track of it. But inside we have 4 pieces, and nothing special about these. They just have a recessed kind of spacer right here, so you can notch them together. And I'll try to get everything out. We have spark arrestor right here, and another one of these. One more, and let's see. And then the 4th one, or any one of them, you can put the scraper in for when you're cleaning out the ash right here. And so, and then lastly we have the pipe with the damper right here. And one thing I noticed about the damper itself is that even when it's closed, they still have a little airflow going in. So that's probably a good thing, assuming if you accidentally keep it closed, it's probably still going to smoke out in the tent or wherever you are, but at least there's still a little bit of smoke going up. And so, really good quality. They have a little spring right here, so it stays kind of, I guess you wouldn't call it taut, but it stays kind of stiff to this touch. And again, if you look in there, it does have some resistance when you twirl it, so it's not just spinning around, it's staying in place. So that's also a nice touch. And then lastly, one of my favorite parts about this stove is, take it out. How do we do this? Take it out. That way. So you take it out this with the top. It has a water heater built in, and this also does feel like high quality. They have spring-loaded latches right here, which is nice. I did find that this nozzle was a little loose, so when you try to open and close it, this does spin a little bit, so I don't know if there's a way to tighten that, but that's something I may want to do when I go to use it, because this gets really hot. You're not going to want to touch anything but that black handle. But let's just go ahead and set it up, and I'll show you what it looks like with just a few on. I'm not going to put all the pipes on because it doesn't make any sense. Alright, so the cool thing about this is that if you get the 45-degree pipes, you can shoot it out the side, or you can get 90-degree pipes and put it directly that way. But I don't know how the smoke's really going to flow. You might get some smoke coming out the other way. But the molding and the welding on this definitely feels solid. This slips right in, and the it's pretty cylindrical. I mean, it does feel like, I do feel like this. There are a few little gaps, but I don't think smoke's going to come out of there. And then let's just show you this, so then I can go ahead and just unlatch these and just wrap it around. I'm sure you've all seen this. And then latch into the back. And as much as I want to try using this in my place in the city, I don't think that would be realistic. So, and then lastly, I'll just put this up here so you can see it, how it looks. And imagine there was a bunch more of those going up. So, all in all, it's a really good looking stove, and it's very well made. These handles have a cool little ornate feel to them, and the glass itself is pretty solid, although I have read and heard that they cracked it easily and you do have to buy replacements. That's kind of why I'm keeping that foam place in there, so when it travels, stuff doesn't come out the glass and crack it. The intake right here doesn't really have, let me just go ahead and sit down. The intake here doesn't really have much friction or resistance. It's pretty free, but it's not loose by any means. But you definitely, I guess when it's hot, that's a good thing, because you want to probably not put your fingers on this for very long. It will definitely stay in place, and all in all, it looks like a good amount of oxygen needed to make a fire roar. And then if I were to just keep this all the way open, it looks pretty good. So, awesome little system. One unique thing I found about this stove is that when you're looking online, when you're shopping these things, the pictures never really truly do justice. This removable cover right here allows you to cook directly on flame. I'm sure most people know that, with a pot or a pan. But I thought this was a lot bigger. It actually is only around 6 inches probably in diameter. And so I wouldn't say it would use a full frying pan, but I found that it would fit really well with some kind of mid-size pot like this. And it just kind of sits there and you get that open flame action. And of course, these side little rail systems seem to hold something nice. And let's see if I can put something there just to show you what I'm talking about. I got a couple of mixing bowls here, and maybe you can be mixing, doing stuff, and you know, this one may slide off because it is on a slope, but all in all, it seems to be pretty good. And you probably wouldn't have mixing bowls here. You'd probably have some kind of water jug or something, another pot and pan, or possibly a prep table there. With the grate itself, which we almost forgot about, I'm sure you guys remembered, is if we open this up, I did find that it does matter in terms of how the latches that it sits on are welded, which side goes up, and I kind of forget every time which one it is, but if I put it in, I believe this That's it. So it sits on 6 latches right there. And then you can go ahead and just use your scraper and while you're feeding and stoking the fire, You can scrape out some ashes, give it some oxygen, and allow your fire to continue to grow and withstand, a decent flame, giving out heat. So, this isn't the ideal location for the stove, but just set up like this, you can see it's a very versatile system in terms of what you get out of it. You get hot water, you can cook, it heats you up, and you have 2 little trays. And that's one thing I actually, if I were kind of think about the G stove, also offers. But you don't have as much flat surface area because that's more of a cylindrical shape. So yeah, a few fallbacks to the stove itself. I haven't really thought of anything too major that may wear over time. Besides the glass, like I said, breaking possibly, which would happen with anything. This lever right here does seem to be somewhat stiff. You can't just touch it with one hand and push it down. It's pretty hard. You do have to push in, so perhaps that's where the gloves come into play. But the damper itself, or not the damper, the oxygen intake valve right here, is pretty easy to turn, and I can see myself just turning this relatively quickly without burning my fingers. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going out this weekend to use this, and we will be filming this, so I thought it'd be cool to kind of show you guys the before and after of what it looks like new out of the bag, out of the box, out of the bag, a little bit of both, and then what it will look like in action with one of my good friends. We're going to do a little winter camping, so I'm excited to show you guys that. So if you guys like the video, be sure to subscribe and follow me for more new product releases as I get them. This year is going to be a major YouTube video production year for me. I'm really stepping it up. I'm going to try to really get some followers. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but between work and life and just moving around, it's been really hard to focus and really give people quality content. So I hope you enjoy this, and if you have any questions about the stove, feel free to reach out, and I'll be here again to show you guys more fun stuff. Catch you later.